Welcome to another podcast of Convocourses, and today we're doing this from Hawaii. This is going to be pre-recorded, no lives on this one because I'm not sure how good the internet's going to be from this place I'm staying. What I'm going to do is answer some questions that I've gotten. These are come from emails, come from video comments, come from all over the place. And all these, usually these are just common questions that I get over and over again. All right, let's start off with just a comment that I have from myself about working remotely from Hawaii. If you're thinking about doing something like this, I've been here for about a week and a half now. Been working partially from Hawaii. I'm working from Big Island, specifically Hilo and Kona, and it's been all right. Like, the internet here is actually better than where I'm from. Like, where I'm at is a very rural place in Colorado, and so the internet's not very good in rural parts of continental United States. But here in Kona and Hilo, it's been okay. As usual, I usually have a backup internet connection, which is my hotspot from my phones, and that works well enough for me. So that's just the thing. Always have a backup connection so that if your hotel high-speed internet doesn't work, that you have, you can always switch to the other backups on your hotspot or your phone or whatever. So internet hasn't been a problem. I really don't have any issues. Like, the places I'm staying at are quiet. I can always go into a quiet room and do any kind of recording or do any kind of Zoom meetings or anything I need to do, check my emails, no problems there. Probably the main issue is just that you're in a tropical paradise and you always want to go outside. That's probably the main issue. Internet's not going to be an issue. The prices, I'll tell you that. Like, the prices of the actual resorts or the hotels or the Airbnbs are astronomical. The food is going to be probably 30% more expensive than you're normally used to paying. That would be one issue I would say that has been something that you should probably look into if you're going to work remotely from Hawaii. It's just very pricey. That goes for all the islands, I think. I've only been to the two. That's Oahu and Big Island, but both of them pretty much have that same issue where it's just very expensive. So that's one thing that you should really look out for. The food is great and everything. The location, as you can see, is incredible. So many things to see and do here while I've been on vacation and working here and there. But yeah, the prices are, just be ready for that. And that's something that we prepared ourselves for. I work a lot of hours.
You want toast?
Yeah, thanks. So I've actually been able to bring my whole family here and spend some time here. And it's just, the more people that you bring with you, the more expensive it is. That's another thing. It's not cheap. So that's one thing I'll say. I've had to go through all the quarantine stuff. You probably won't have to go through that if you're watching this years from now. Hopefully you don't have to go through all the quarantine and everything. There was like 2 different sets of quarantines here. We had to get a quarantine from Colorado, and then we had to get that 72 hours before we left. We got here, we showed them the results. They tested us again when we got here, and that, of course, negative test, negative results and everything. So we weren't quarantined. If you don't get a test before you get here, they quarantine you for 14 days. But like I said, you may not have to worry about, hopefully you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff by the time you watch this video. So those are the main things. It's just very expensive here. Everything else is fine. We actually were looking for possibly properties here, but it's pretty crazy prices unless you go out by Volcano, which is over by the Volcano National Park on Big Island. Those prices are more reasonable, but I don't know if we have to try another tropical location because it's a little bit too much here in Hawaii. All right, other issues here. Let me see. Okay, I've got some questions that are coming to me from the actual, somebody said, what would you recommend starting out early career? I'm new to the field, except a consulting position, and was recently offered a GS position. The volatility of the private sector worries me but the pay is definitely better. I'd also be able to get my hands on way more, like you said. If you're starting out and you are offered a GS position, I would say take it. And here's the reason why. The GS, the government is going to give you a lot of training. Guaranteed they're going to give you some training. Like they're going to pay for courses. And even if they don't pay for courses, like they don't pay for boot camps or things like that or certifications, you can actually start on your degree. If you have a master's, if you don't have a degree, you can start on your degree. If you have an associate's degree, you can get a bachelor's degree. If you have a bachelor's degree, they're going to pay for you to get a master's degree. So if I was starting out, knowing everything I know now about cybersecurity, about IT, and I was offered a GS position, knowing what I know now, I would take that GS position, even if it paid less, because they're going to pay, because number one, they're going to have way better benefits. On average, way better benefits. Now, if you work for a Google or Facebook or something like that, they probably have better. There are companies who have better benefits than governments, but those are typically very hard to get into because there's not a lot of people leaving those positions. Some of the gigantic multi-billion international companies, those ones have really good benefits. So if you can get into one of those positions, take it. But if not, if it's an average position at a Northrop Grumman or a Lockheed Martin and it's not like a C-level exec director type position, go for a GS. GS is going to be better than your average job. It's really, they're not going to just fire you for no reason. They're not going to let you go for no reason. They're going to train you. They usually have a budget for training each year. They have programs for you to get your master's degree, your bachelor's degree, or whatever. Certification programs. I mean, and you're going to get some experience. So build up. If you're starting out, get the GS position. Take advantage of all of the incentives that they have to upgrade yourself. Get your degree maybe. Get some experience under your belt. And then after about a year or two of doing that, maybe I would say probably 2 to 3 years. After about 2 to 3 years of that, after about 2 to 3 years of working for a GS position, then think about going to private sector, and that will actually give you an idea of like what you already have and what you're paid, and then what you're worth. Because here's the thing: if you actually got the degree, if you spent those 2-3 years getting that degree, getting that certification, getting that experience, now you're worth way more to the private sector. That's what I would do if I was in your position. So GS is, just so you guys know, if you guys didn't know, GS is a government civil servant that works in the public sector. That means the federal government in some capacity. And also you have state government positions that are also public sector. And that just means, public sector means that they work for everyone. They work for the DMV. They work for SSN, Social Security Card Agency. They work for the Department of Defense, the Army, the Navy. They work for everyone. They use the tax dollars that you and I pay for in the U.S., and then they're paid from tax dollars. So they do public service. As opposed to private sector. Private sector means like it's a privately owned company. It's, it's your Lockheed Martin, your Google, your Facebooks, your Twitter, whoever. All those are privately owned companies that you can go ahead and work for. So that's the difference between public and private. So yeah, I've also said that if you are a family guy, you got a bunch of family and stuff, you got kids and wife and stuff you gotta attend to, then I would highly recommend GS position because it's way more stable. They're not going to just fire you out of nowhere. Private sector is volatile. I mean, they could let you go for any reason at all whatsoever, but they do pay really, really well. Like you're talking like 6 figures easy in the private sector. Not so easy in the public sector because you got to be like a GS, 14 or something like that. GS 13, I think, is when they start. I'm not sure. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. So that was my advice with that one. Let me see. We've got another question here. Okay, somebody corrected me. I had a video where I talked about the differences between an SCI and a polygraph test, and somebody's question was, do you have to get a polygraph test to get an SCI? And my answer was no. you don't. I've had a SCI, top secret SCI clearance before, and all it is a different way of handling top secret information. Then I tried to answer the polygraph one, and I said I don't know nothing about polygraph. I've never had one. I've got friends that had one. I don't know why they give them, and I have not had a job that required a polygraph test. But Mr. Johnson says, so there are two types of polygraph. He says most people get the CI polygraph, which means counterintelligence. Basically, they want to know if you've ever thought about attempting bad things against the government. That's counterintelligence. Then the second one is a scope polygraph, sometimes referred to as a lifestyle polygraph, a lifestyle poly. It's more of a character type exam. Either way, no, you don't need one for SEI. Thank you so much, Mr. Johnson, for that, for correcting us or giving us more data, more information. That I did not know that, but that's great information. So you got two types of polygraphs. One's for counterintelligence. One is the lifestyle full scope poly, and that's the one that somebody told me about. That sounds insane to me. Either way, you do not need any kind of polygraph to have an SEI. They're kind of separate things. So hope that answers you guys' question. Just kind of a short little video there to explain that, what's going on. Let's move on. Let me see. Somebody asked, this is about the video where I did about the master's degree in cybersecurity role. And EM said, this was somebody asking, hey, should I get a master's degree? I'm going into cybersecurity. Should I get a master's degree? They had a bachelor's degree, I guess. And EM says, if he's planning to attend a university, I say go for the MS, because he has the experience, the CISSP, the BS, the BA, more opportunities may be open to him with the MS. That's absolutely true. So with a master's degree, I know I'm not trying to downplay the importance of a master's degree. Whenever I talk, normally I tell people, hey, just get a bachelor's degree. Do you really need a master's degree? But here's the thing. EM is right. Master's degree opens up more avenues for you, more management, because normally to be a manager or to be a C-level exec, one of the requirements I've noticed, not all the time, but one of the regular requirements is that they're looking for, and the people you're competing against are going to have a master's degree. So a master's degree actually opens up that one path for you. So not only is it going to open up more doors for positions that require at least a master's degree, so that opens up those doors, but it's also going to open up other positions for managers, directors, high-level supervisors, C-level positions. All of those will be open to you, and you got to keep in mind those management type C-level director positions aren't always super technical. That's another kind of a positive thing for you. So I would keep all of that in mind when going for a master's degree. If it's available, if you can do it, if you're like, you're right there on the ledge and you're kind of wondering, you've got the resources to do it, and you've got the time to do it, and you want to get a master's degree, go for it. It's going to open up more doors. It's not going to hurt you, so go for it. Me personally, I just, I don't see, like, for where I'm kind of where I'm at. I'm where I want to be. So for me, a master's degree, maybe give me more credentials to teach more. That'd be about the only reason I would want a master's degree, just to have that master's degree behind my name or whatever, and say, oh, he can go teach at MIT or Harvard or something like that. Probably that would be the only reason I personally would do it. I would not do it for a company unless I wanted to manage, which I don't. So, all right, so let's keep going here. Okay, so somebody had some questions about resume ISO review. Here's another one about, it's a whole separate one where I talked about, should I get a master's degree? Another video, somebody asked, should I get a master's degree in cybersecurity? And John asked, so Western Governor University or National University cybersecurity master's program, which of these two do you guys favor and why? All right, so I'd probably go with the Western Governors University, just because I know what it is. That's not to say anything bad about the National University. I don't know. I just don't know anything about National University cybersecurity. But what do you guys think about that? Do you guys have any reason why you would choose one or the other? Western Governor University was one that I've actually considered doing. I think I went even as far as like registering to take their master's program, and they were pushing really hard to get more military people in Western Governors University, and I knew a few people who took their course and had nothing but positive things to say about it. They were all military people, so that's why I just is word of mouth. I just know more about it because people have said so many positive things about Western Governor University. I would have chose that one. And then I actually ended up doing a lot of research for them when I was thinking about taking it. I don't know anything about National University for Cybersecurity Master's Program, but that's just me. What do you guys think about that? I mean, I know that some people actually would know the difference between the two. Tell me what in the comments below what you guys think about the differences between the two. Which one would you choose? Okay, so I'm going to switch gears a little bit. Somebody's got some information on how to identify scammer profiles with Google Images. So I did a video a couple years back, and I've got a whole course about how to do this and it's free, by the way. If you're interested, we'll put the link in the description below about how to access this free course about dating sites. Essentially what I do is, my job is cybersecurity. My job is analyzing threats, is finding malware, finding scammers, things like that. But in the past, I was going on dating sites. I was trying to find a spouse, a partner, a long-term partner, and I found her. But it took me a long time, and I got scammed more than once. So I have I have a special set of skills here. One of which is that I have experience not only being scammed, but talking directly to scammers after they scam me, by the way. And I know the behind the scenes of why. I know how they do it, some of the techniques. So I did a course about it, and it's free. Go ahead and download it. It talks about how to avoid them. Anyway, let's get to this person's comment. It's from Kim, and they're responding to how to identify scam profiles in Google Images, with Google Images. They said, helpful information. I got scammed by a person using their real name. At least that's what it said on their government ID. And called me, video chatted with me every day for 3 months. And it wasn't just a picture. I saw them live with coworkers and family. Then the scammer was revealed. The scammer was revealed by someone they knew who found me on his Facebook friends list. Okay, so somebody that they knew let them know, I guess. The scam was revealed by someone who found me. Someone they knew who found me. Okay, someone they knew who found them. Okay, the scammer admitted that they knew the person who contacted me and admitted the scam. Oh man. It wasn't just a picture. It was totally convinced and lucky to get the message from someone who knew them. It's scary out there, and some people who are sick, evil, and desperate will do and say anything to gain your trust. Beware. Absolutely true. And that's why one of the things that I say in the course, it's not only just doing reverse image searches, guys. That's not all it is. So you got to take your time, because there's romance scammers, right? So there's not only scammers who put up a fake profile and tell you that they're somebody that they're not, but it's also people who really are going to spend the time and effort to earn your trust. They're going to go on video, they're going to show you true things, and they're going to basically catfish you. They're going to convince you that they care about you when they really don't, and they maybe have 4 or 5 other people that they say the same thing to. That's a whole different ball game. And so for that one, the only thing that you can really do is it just takes time to figure out who this person is, and ultimately the next step is to meet them in person. It's much harder to trick a person if you actually take the time to meet them in person, meet parts of their family, meet their kids or whatever, and you have to have, to spend the time and money and effort, energy to go overseas or to another state to meet this person, and they're gonna have this elaborate thing where they still continue to trick you for a week straight, you know, it's going to be way harder. But before you even get to the point where you're meeting this person, you want to have had so many conversations with this person. You want to have established a relationship with them, and take it slow, because it just takes time. And that's something that time will tell who this person is. Even to be honest with you, I've even met people who got romance scams from a person they met in person. They flew to this person's country, met this person, they were engaged, and then the person turned out to be somewhere between a scammer and a gold digger. And so that right there, it just takes time to figure out what this person is all about. Are you guys on the same page? You know, so there's more to it than just reverse searches. You've got to get to know the person, talk to them on a regular basis, figure out what they're all about, and that just takes time. So I'm going to keep going here. Okay, somebody just on the whole the whole scammer profiles things. Somebody said, Susan says, thank you so much. I think I have a scammer. You helped me. Get a lot of positive feedback from that course and from that video that I did. So appreciate that. You know, I myself was scammed, so I just want to help other people to find that person that they love, and so that they're not, you know, because I know how you're lonely, you really just want somebody you care, you know, want to meet that special someone. And a lot of people are very kind and caring, and they're okay with sending money or whatever, and because they want to share their life with this person. But there's so many scammers and catfishing and all kinds of romance scams out there. Here's another question. Somebody said, this one's about the 6-figure telework cybersecurity option. And this is, David said, I just got done studying the RMF risk NIST fundamentals of cybersecurity, nothing technical. How do I send you a resume for review? I'm looking to apply for an ISO support IAA SCA telework position. Okay, so for you guys who want to send me your resume, especially for people who have paid for my course, I'm open, willing, and able to help you out with your resume. Just contact me at the best place to contact me is cyberaware2020@gmail.com, and we'll put the description the actual email right here. Send me your email here. The best way to do this is to send it to me via Google Drafts. You either email it to me to the email that I gave you here, but the best way is to upload it to Google Draft and then share it with me. That way I can literally fix it for you. I can help you fix it and give you some advice right in your resume, and then you can actually accept the things that I'm saying there, because I'll comment on each part of your resume. So that's how you contact me for resumes, especially if you pay for the course. You pay for the course, special treatment. You got to send me your resume. Okay, here's one. This one is a question about identity and access management system integration IAM SI job, and it's from Kevin. He says, I have an interview for an IAM specialist for identity and access management next week. Okay, so this is long past this time, but this might help someone else. Any pointers? The description looks like it's mainly administrative in nature. I don't have much IAM experience other than what I'm learning from AWS SA Associate, but I do have a Jamf Active Directory and Office 360 experience that would cross over. Thanks. So I would honestly, Kevin, and anybody else watching this, I would really have to see what the job description was in order to fully answer this question. And in the past, what I've done is I've taken the job description. Some people send me their job description, they send me their resume, and I'm able to see, okay, let me see if this is a good matchup between, this is what you can do on your own. Take the job description and then read through it, right? Of course, read through it. Look at your own resume. how does your resume match up with the job description? What you want to do on the interview, just to give you a couple pointers, is have thoroughly read through what the requirements are for the job description and talk about those whenever you can. Because what you're doing is you're telling them, listen, I meet all your requirements, or I meet most of your requirements, and here's where I even go above and beyond your requirements. So if they say, hey, we're looking for somebody who knows how to manage Active Directory, whenever they're asking you questions, you want to take the time, read, if you can, verbatim what their requirement is, and tell them how you can satisfy that. So if it said, we're looking for someone to manage our Active Directory, you would use their own words against them. You'd say, so when they're asking you questions about your experience, you'd say, well, I have an expert level of experience managing Active Directory. I've done it for 3 years straight in a large environment, and so I'm really excited about getting into another role like that. So that's what you want to use, like what you read in their description, to tell them, hey, I'm ready to, not only am I ready to do this, but I have experience doing this. I've done it before. So that's one thing you can do. Another big one that you really want to play up to is to tell them that you are okay, not only okay, but excellent in working with teams. And the reason why that's important, it's important to tell them that you are a team player and that you work well in teams, is because most large projects are done in teams. All right. So there are situations where they want you to work by yourself independently. You don't need any help. You don't need somebody looking over your shoulder. Of course, you can work on your own, and that's great. That's cool. I'm not saying that you should be one of these people that have to have somebody constantly telling you what to do or anything. But what you're emphasizing is that you're not just a team player, but you work very well in teams. And you can deal with difficult customers. You want to say those words too, because that's the thing, especially in large projects where you're dealing directly with the client. Number one, you're going to have to work with a team. You don't have to know everything. If you're the Active Directory guy, you don't have to know the firewalls, but you can talk to those guys on the team who are experts in the firewall. So read through their resume. Read through their job description. Focus on their requirements. Be ready to repeat the requirements back and tell them what you can do for them with those requirements. And then go into, hey, I'm excellent in working with teams. I'm not telling you to lie here. If you're not excellent working with teams, obviously probably find another job. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, if you can't work with a team, don't tell, I'm really good with working with teams, but you suck at it. No, I'm not telling you to lie. I'm telling you to tell them where you have worked with teams and you did well working with a team, that you're a team player, right? Very important to a large organization, especially large organizations. Another thing is difficult customers, because especially if you're customer facing. If you're customer facing, that means you are talking directly to their clients, to their customers, to another company who's their B2B and they make all their money off of them. You want to say, yeah, I am excellent at working with difficult customers. Every now and then we do have difficult customers, but here's how I handled it. Because if you're customer facing, you will experience difficult, needy customers, and they want to know that this, because not every IT person can handle that. A lot of IT guys cannot handle it. Now, they can't even handle regular customers, but you telling them, hey, I'm good with this, I'm a pro at this, I've done this before, it's going to put you above the rest. So those are my recommendations for anyone going to an interview doing IT, particularly with security compliance, or in IAM, in administrative. Any of those is who I'm speaking to. All right, let me see. So I answered that one. Let me see if I got another one here. All right, I don't know if I can answer this one, but I'll go ahead and read it anyway. This one's talking about UK, and I just lost it. Hold on, let me search back down here. I'm on my phone reading these questions. So, all right, here it is right here. Talking about, this is me a couple years ago talking about UK cybersecurity job market and Brexit. I don't even know why the hell I was talking about that. That was 3 years ago or something. And I happened to have a guy from the UK. Him and I were talking on a live about the UK market for cybersecurity. And the question from Jeremy is, thanks for your video. I'm curious, as an American who has been working in cybersecurity for 3 to 5 years, do you think it is possible to move to the UK and work over there? Have you made any inroads since posting this video over a year ago? Thanks, Jeremy. Jeremy, I would say, I'm just going to tell you from my experience, Jeremy. I don't know how, keep in mind, this is just my experience, okay? So take it for what it's worth. I've never even been to UK before. I want to go so bad. I've never been there. I've never worked there. I've been to Germany. I've worked in Germany. I've worked in Korea. I've worked in all these different countries, but UK is not one that I have had the pleasure of working in. I know some people who work there, so let me tell you my experience with it. Working overseas, period. So there are jobs overseas for Americans, Canadians, whoever, right? Whoever can do the work. And here's what I found. If you want to find them, they do exist. The problems come when you're looking for a specific place, particularly a specific city in a specific country. That's when the problems are like, whoa, it gets much harder to find those kinds of jobs. But they do. That said, they do exist. And here's what you want to look for. You want to look for, and you can find them, all right? You want to look for large companies, international companies who have a presence in that country. That's one of the things that you can look for in your search. You can find them on the Google aggregator, Google job aggregator. It's just Google jobs in there and you'll find it. You can find them on LinkedIn, on dice.com, basically all the major job aggregators. You'll find these jobs out there. There's not many if you're looking for a specific location. For in your example, UK, if you were looking specifically for a job in the UK for cybersecurity, it's going to be hard to find it. Like, they're not going to be a lot, not hard, but it's not going to be a lot of jobs for somebody who is a foreigner who's going to find a job over there, because you're competing with that whole job market for one thing, and other people who are willing to move there. So that's another thing. That's one thing, but you can find them. One thing I would suggest that you do, one little trick that I use, is to use an alert. So if you go to Google Alerts has it, Bing Alerts, and Yahoo also might have an alert system, but Google's the one that I use. So Google Alerts, if you want to find it, just go type in Google Alerts, find it, and you can search for a specific term. And so if you were looking for cybersecurity jobs in UK, you would type in cybersecurity jobs UK, cybersecurity jobs London, cybersecurity jobs wherever location is, or even IT jobs location. You use a keyword and then the location and search that. So the alerts allows you to, once you put the keywords in, every time somebody mentions that, it will send you an email saying, hey, somebody talked about jobs in UK or whatever. You can do this specifically. It works really well. Indeed.com has an alert system that you can use. Type in the keyword, find the jobs you want, and then put the alerts in there. So go to dice.com, put the alerts there. Go to Google, put the alerts there. Go to LinkedIn, has one. Basically all the job aggregators have one. Go there, set the alert up for that location, for that specific job, and then every time that job pops up, it'll send you a notification, an email notification, and then you can find them that way whenever they come up. So that's one of the tricks that I use. And here's another thing I've noticed for those of you who are looking who happen to be Canadian or UK, or you want to live in another country or whatever. It is possible using that trick that I just said. But what you'll notice is this: as you start looking, some countries allow more jobs than others. Have more jobs than others. Like, for example, one example I can give you is Middle East. The Middle East, which I've been to many times, the Middle East has a lot of jobs there for foreigners, and they pay really well, by the way. Saudi Aramco, for one, is a company that often will have foreign workers go there and do, SOC stuff, security operations center stuff for Saudi Aramco Oil Company, which is a gigantic multi-trillion-dollar company that's here, it's mostly in Saudi Arabia, but they have positions here and there all over the world. So Middle East has tons of jobs for what we do. What's another one that I see pop up every now and then? If you're looking throughout the Southeast Asia, does have some. They're usually snatched up really fast. Like Singapore, I've noticed had some, and some other countries in Southeast Asia have them that I've seen pop up. But if you're looking specifically in Europe or specifically in UK, if you do your research, you will find them. Then the question, once you find it, is, do I match up with this position? So that's, I mean, I don't really have anything else to say about it. These are the techniques that I would use if I was in your position to find those jobs, and I wish you the best. I hope you find it. If you do look, you will eventually find something. It might not be exactly what you want, and they might not pay what you want or whatever, and then they probably not even going to pay for you to go there, to be honest. They won't pay for you to relocate. You got to already be there. I mean, there's so many factors there to consider, but I hope that helps you. I mean, if nothing else, it added to our conversation. I'm interested in your SCA course and how to implement controls and assessments. So the SCA means security control assessment, and I've been getting this question for a long time. I actually am an assessor. I do assessments, and I haven't had time to work on this course yet, and people have been asking me for this for like 2 years now. That and the CAP course, and this is one I've been focusing mostly on the ISO foundations and ISO document compliance. I can tell you I'm working on a CAP course with another group of people. It's really incredible. But SCA, that's what you want to know about. SCA, the SCA course. What I've been thinking about doing, since I don't have a lot of time, is doing like a mini course and offering that one either for free or like as like a teaser to put it out there before I do a more exhaustive course on SCA, because I know a lot of people want it, and I know it would be great to have one place where you can actually have great information from somebody who does it, assessments, and it will be a great course, but I just have not had time to get to it yet. If you guys stick with me, if you stick with Convocourses, if you like and subscribe, you will see me do free stuff on here about SCA and break SCA down. I've done it before. I'll do it again. But I would like to do a full course, and if you follow me, eventually I will release something that's more comprehensive about assessments, risk assessments, vulnerability assessments, just be an assessor period, and things that you should look for, and content, where to go to actually learn more about it is really what I wanted the course to really focus on. Stay with me. It will come, but I've got a lot of stuff on my plate right now, so that's why it's taken so long to get to it. I think that's it, guys, for this one. Thank you so much for watching or listening to this podcast. I will be releasing this in parts so that you guys can kind of take it in bite-sized chunks, in 1 or 2 5-minute chunks and everything. And that's it for this video. Like and subscribe. Please keep following me and get more updates on SCA courses and other courses that I'm going to do. Talk to you guys on the next one.